He's not cruel. He checks in. He says he loves you. So, why do you feel like you're carrying the relationship alone? If you've ever laid awake thinking, I know he cares, so why do I feel so lonely? You're in the right place. Take a deep breath with me. In through your nose, hold, and out through your mouth. Good. I want you to know right from the start you're not broken, dramatic, or asking for too much. You're not crazy for wanting more than, how was your day? And a quick kiss goodnight. There is a gap you're feeling, an ache your body keeps pointing at. And today, we're going to put a name to it and give you language, context, and some relief. So stay with me. This one's for the part of you that's tired of pretending she's fine. Welcome back to Hot Mess to Higher Self. I'm Diana, and today we're going to talk about a very specific kind of ache. The kind that shows up inside a relationship that looks fine on the outside. You know he cares. You don't doubt that. He's not a villain. He's not an asshole. He texts, he shows up. He might even be dependable with the practical everyday things. And yet, there's this invisible wall between you. And you can't always explain it, but your body feels it every single day. Maybe it hits when you're sitting next to him on the couch and the silence feels really loud. Or maybe it's during conversations where the logistics get covered, like bills, schedules, kids, dinner, but you don't feel covered. Maybe it's after an argument that gets resolved in words, but not in your nervous system. So your chest stays tight and your brain keeps scanning for danger like the conflict never actually ended. Here's the language for that feeling: emotional loneliness. Not just, we haven't had a date night in a while, not just, we're busy. I'm talking about being with someone while your body feels without. And if that sentence just made your stomach drop, I want you to hear me. You are not needy for noticing. You are attuned. In this episode, we're going to do three things. We're going to separate care from connection because, yes, they're related, but they are not the same. Care can look like checking boxes. Connection feels like being with you in your inner world. One is doing, the other is attuning. Two, we're going to trace the roots of why so many smart, capable women settle for the bare minimum emotionally. Spoiler, most of us were taught early on that attention and caretaking equals love. So we learned to be grateful for scraps and then to feel guilty for still being hungry. And three, we're going to bring this out of the head and into the body with two short practices and a few journal prompts so you can stop gaslighting your own needs and start hearing them clearly. Because this isn't about blaming your partner, this is about honoring your nervous system. Emotional presence isn't a cute little add on. Biologically, it's regulating. It's how our bodies feel safe and soft and open in relationships. Now, quick note before we dive in: when I talk about men not being emotionally present, I'm not bashing men. A lot of good men were just never taught emotional attunement. There were no models at home, no language in school, and a culture that tells them that feelings are weakness. And that doesn't excuse the impact, but it explains the pattern. And our work here is twofold. We will tell the truth about what your body needs, and we will hold compassion for the learning curve that many partners are on. So, if you've been wondering, is it me? Am I expecting too much? I want you to borrow my words today. It's not too much to want someone who looks into your eyes and actually sees you. It's not too much to want co regulation instead of quick fixes. It's not too much to want depth and softness and presence and repair that lands in your body, not just in the calendar. All right, take another breath in and out. And let's start by naming the gap you've been feeling. We're going to talk about the disconnect between care and connection, why it's so disorienting, and how to trust yourself inside of it. So, as I just said, care and connection are not the same thing. And so many men, and honestly, so many people in general, just never learned how to connect emotionally. They learned how to care in practical ways. They know how to provide, to protect, fix, or show up with actions. They know how to say, text me when you get there so I know you're safe, or don't worry, I'll take care of that. And listen, those things are important. I'm not minimizing them. They matter. They show investment, they show effort. But here's the difference: care happens at the level of doing, and connection happens at the level of being. Connection looks like attunement, it looks like actually feeling you. It's him noticing the way your shoulders drop when you're overwhelmed. It's him catching the tightness in your tone before you even name it. It's him co regulating with you, softening when you soften, grounding when you ground. It's the way his presence steadies you, not just the way his actions help you. And when that's missing, your body can feel that. Even if your mind tries to talk you out of it, your body feels that gap. Let me give you a personal example. There was a day when Omar and I had just had a conversation about my needs and my desires. And one of the things I had shared with him very openly was that I love little gifts, not big, extravagant gestures, even though, yes, I like those too, but the small things that show I thought of you. For me, that's love language gold. So a couple of days later, he's mowing the lawn and he comes in from outside and he's holding these flowers he had just picked from our yard, and he smiles and hands them to me, looking all proud of himself, and says, "Here, I thought you'd like these." And in that moment, I genuinely felt cared for. I smiled, I thanked him. I knew he was trying, and a part of me did feel appreciated. But when I laid down that night, I noticed that ache in my chest was still there. And I kept thinking, why do I still feel unseen? Why does something still feel missing when he literally just did the thing I asked for? And later, I learned that care is not the same as connection. Because here's the thing: the flowers were an act of care, they were thoughtful, but what I was craving in that moment wasn't care, it was connection. It wasn't just about receiving the flowers, it was about feeling into his presence as he handed them to me. It was about him noticing the emotion underneath my request. That what I really wanted was to feel thought of, cherished, considered in the quiet in between moments. And instead, it felt like he just checked a box. She asked for this and I delivered. And while my mind could understand the gesture, my body still felt hungry. And that's the difference I want you to see. You can be cared for and still feel disconnected. You can have someone meeting your requests, meeting your needs, doing the things, showing up in very visible ways, and still feel emotionally lonely if the presence is missing. This is why you can look at your relationship and think, it should be enough. He's not unkind. He's not absent. He does care. But at the same time, you feel this hollowness inside. You feel like something isn't landing. And then you start turning it inward. Why am I not satisfied? Why do I feel ungrateful? Maybe I'm the problem, but you're not the problem, because care without connection is like food without nutrients. It's like eating a bag of chips and expecting yourself to feel satiated. It fills the plate, but it doesn't feed you. It might even look good from the outside. It might taste great in the moment, but your body is still starving. And I need you to hear me on this. You are not needy for wanting more than care. You are not dramatic for wanting presence. What you're experiencing is not a flaw, it's wisdom. It's your body's way of saying, I need more than boxes checked. I need depth. I need resonance. I need attunement. So, if you've ever felt that ache, that gap between knowing someone cares and still feeling deeply alone, I want you to know you're not crazy. You're not broken. You're simply undernourished. Now, let's talk about why this is so common. Why do so many smart, self aware women stay in relationships that look good enough but feel empty on the inside? Why do we convince ourselves that the bare minimum is all we should want? Well, as most things, it usually starts in childhood. If you grew up in a home where your emotional world wasn't mirrored back to you, maybe your parents worked hard, maybe they put food on the table, they even provided well financially or made sacrifices for you. That was care. But if they didn't attune to you, if they didn't notice when you were sad or scared or overwhelmed, if they didn't pause to say, I see you, I hear you, and what you're feeling makes sense, then your nervous system got a very different message. You learned early that attention equals love, provision equals love, caretaking equals love. So maybe your mom cooked and cleaned and made sure you had what you needed, but never asked about your feelings. Maybe your dad worked long hours and you knew it was for the family, but you didn't feel with him. Maybe you were praised for being easy, for not having needs, or for being the kid who didn't cause trouble. And in those moments, a blueprint was being written. And the blueprint said, this is what love looks like. Be grateful for what you get and don't ask for more. So you grow up and you enter adult relationships. And when a man cares in practical ways, when he checks in, when he does the chores, when he provides, something inside of you says, this is love. This is what I'm supposed to want. And then when your body starts whispering, hey, I'm still hungry, I'm still lonely, I need more, you immediately guilt yourself and you shut it down. And you think, what's wrong with me? Why am I not satisfied? I should be grateful. Like, look at everything he's doing for me. And here's the cruel twist. You were taught to settle for breadcrumbs, and then you were taught to shame yourself for still feeling hungry. Think about that for a second. As a child, you were given scraps and told, this is a meal. And then when your little body still felt hungry, you were told, stop being dramatic. Stop wanting too much. Be thankful. Be grateful for what you get. So, of course, as an adult, when your partner brings you the equivalent of those same breadcrumbs, part of you lights up. Yes, this is what love is supposed to be. But another part of you, the deeper, wiser part, aches because she knows that it's not enough. She knows that she deserves the whole fucking meal. So you're not broken for still feeling lonely, and you're not wrong for wanting more. The fact that you still feel hungry doesn't make you needy, it makes you human. Your nervous system is literally wired for more than care. It is wired for connection, for resonance, for being seen and felt and understood. And when you don't get that, it hurts. Not just emotionally, but physically. Like you can feel it in your body. Your chest tightens or you feel those knots in your stomach. You don't sleep well. Your sleep suffers. And you spin and overthinking, wondering what's wrong with you, and getting in these like worry cycles when the only thing wrong is that you were taught to normalize deprivation. So, just because you learned to settle doesn't mean you have to keep settling. The fact that you feel unsatisfied is not proof that you're ungrateful. It's proof that your body remembers what you were supposed to have all along. Love that is both caring and connected. Here's what I need you to hear: loneliness inside a relationship is not just a mood, it's not you being dramatic, it's not you being needy. It is a nervous system signal. When your body feels unseen, unfelt, unheld, your nervous system literally goes into dysregulation. And that's why you start overthinking. That's why your chest feels tight and you can't fall asleep. That's why you either get anxious and clingy or you shut down and go numb. Your body is saying, I am not safe, I am not met, and I am undernourished. Because emotional presence isn't just nice to have, it's not extra, it's not fluff. Biologically, it's required. Humans are wired for co regulation, that deep, steadying rhythm we feel when another nervous system syncs with ours. Think about a baby resting against their mother's chest. The baby's heart rate slows because it's literally calibrating to her mother's body. And that doesn't go away when we grow up. As adults, we still need to calibrate with the people closest to us. So, when your partner is physically there but emotionally absent, your nervous system registers the gap. It's like being dehydrated while standing next to a glass of water that you're not allowed to drink. The presence is there, but the nourishment is not reaching you, and that hurts. Honestly, being in a relationship without emotional connection can be more dysregulating than being alone. Because when you're alone, you know you're alone, and your body adjusts to that reality. But when you're with someone who's supposed to be your safe person and you still feel lonely, it's a constant push pull on your system. Part of you leans in, craving that closeness, and part of you pulls back because you're not getting what you need. That tug of war, it's exhausting. And this is where a lot of women will start to blame themselves. They'll say things like, I should be happy. I'm not single, and he's not treating me badly. Why can't I just appreciate what I have? But your nervous system doesn't care about logic. It cares about felt safety. Your brain can list out every good quality he has, every reason you should feel connected. But your body is sitting there like, nope, something's missing. That mismatch between mind and body is what creates so much inner conflict. And this is not your body betraying you, it's actually protecting you. That ache you feel in your chest, that's not weakness, that's wisdom. It's your body waving a red flag saying, this isn't enough. I need more. Let me put it like this: you would never say to a plant, stop being dramatic, stop needing water, just be grateful for the sunlight. You would understand that the plant needs both. It needs water and light to thrive. And you wouldn't shame it for wilting when it didn't get one. So why do you shame yourself for needing both care and connection? If your body is aching with loneliness, even inside a relationship, it's not a character flaw, it's biology. It's a nervous system signal saying, this isn't enough. This isn't safe. And the most powerful thing you can do is to stop arguing with that signal. Stop telling it to be quiet and stop calling yourself ungrateful. Start listening, because that signal, that's your path back to wholeness. Okay, so let's shift into something experiential, because talking about loneliness and nervous system signals, well, that's nice, but I also want you to feel the difference in your body right now. So if you're in a safe place, not driving, not multitasking, I want you to pause with me. And if you're driving or busy, you can still listen and then come back later to try this fully. So go ahead and get comfortable. Let your shoulders soften. Unclench your jaw. And take a slow breath in through your nose. Hold for just a moment. And exhale out through your mouth. And do that 2 more times at your own pace. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Now, I want you to gently place one hand on your belly and the other hand over your heart. And just notice the rise and fall of your breath underneath your hands. Notice that your body is here, it's present, and it's holding you. And when you feel settled enough, I want you to ask yourself a very simple question. What am I not receiving right now? Don't overthink it. Don't censor it. Just let your body answer. Maybe a word pops into your mind. Maybe you feel something in your chest or your throat. Maybe it's an image or a memory. However it comes, just let it come. And some of you will hear answers like, I need softness. I need tenderness. I need to feel chosen. Others might hear, I need safety. I need depth. I need consistency. And maybe your answer feels almost embarrassingly simple, like, I just need a real hug. Whatever it is, let it be enough. You don't have to justify it. You don't have to argue with it. You don't have to compare it to what someone else might need. This is your body telling you your truth. Now, I want you to say it out loud if you can. Whisper it to yourself. What I need right now is, and fill in the blank. And feel how powerful it is just to name it. Because most of us were trained to suppress our needs. We were told, don't be so sensitive and don't ask for so much and be grateful for what you have. And so we pushed those needs down until we couldn't even recognize them anymore. But the minute you stop gaslighting yourself and simply just name the need, your nervous system starts to settle. It's like your body breathes a sigh of relief. So, right now, as you sit with your hand on your belly and your hand on your heart, I want you to take another slow breath and tell yourself, it makes sense that I need this. My needs are not a burden. My needs are wisdom. And let that sink in. This practice of naming the need, it might sound simple, but it's profound because you're teaching yourself to stop ignoring your body's truth. You're teaching yourself to stop settling for surface level care and start listening for what your system actually craves. And you can come back to this practice anytime, in the middle of a fight, in a moment of loneliness, even in a grocery store line. Hand to belly, hand to heart. What am I not receiving right now? And then name it. That's how you start turning the lights back on inside of yourself. Okay, so now that you've named the need, let's take it one step further. Because for so many of us, our needs were dismissed for so long that even when we name them now, a part of us still doubts. A part of us still whispers, "You're too much. You shouldn't feel this way. Just be grateful." So we need a way to interrupt that pattern, to energetically validate ourselves, and to remind our hearts that no, what I'm feeling makes sense. So let's do this together. If it feels safe, keep your hand on your heart and close your eyes if you can. And take a slow, deep breath in through your nose and release it out of your mouth. And then repeat after me, either out loud or silently in your mind. It makes sense that I feel lonely. Take a breath and let that sentence land. And say it again. It makes sense that I feel lonely. Now add the next part. My heart deserves more than being tolerated. Breathe into that and notice what shifts in your chest as you say it. One more time. It makes sense that I feel lonely. My heart deserves more than being tolerated. How does that feel in your body? Maybe there's a release, like a sigh. Maybe there's a heaviness because the truth stings. Both are valid. This is your body processing. Now, if you want to take this even deeper, I want you to imagine your younger self. Maybe she's 6 years old. Maybe she's 12. Maybe she's a teenager sitting on her bed feeling misunderstood. Picture her in your mind. And I want you to say these words to her. It makes sense that you feel lonely. You deserved more. And I'm not going to abandon you now. And take a deep breath. You might feel some emotions rise. That's okay. Let it. That's energy moving. That's you breaking the cycle of self abandonment. Every time you validate yourself in this way, you're reprogramming your nervous system. You're telling your body, I hear you. I believe you. You make sense. And that is the foundation of healing. So, as we close this practice, I want you to place both hands over your heart. Feel the warmth, feel the rhythm, and whisper to yourself, my needs are not too much. My needs are sacred. And take a deep breath in and exhale it all out. Beautiful. You can come back to this practice anytime, especially in those moments where guilt tries to creep in, when your brain says, you're fine, stop overreacting. Pause, put your hand on your heart, and remind yourself, it makes sense. My heart deserves more. That one sentence has the power to shift everything. Now that you've felt into your body and practiced validating your own experience, I want you to give you some prompts to work with, some journal prompts, because when these thoughts just swirl around in your head, they can feel endless. But when you put pen to paper, you create a space between you and the story. You create clarity and you give your nervous system a way to release what it's been holding. So, if you can, grab your journal. If you're not in a place to write right now, just listen and let the questions sink in. You can always come back later. Here's the first one. What does emotional connection feel like in my body? And don't rush this. Close your eyes and really imagine it. When you feel deeply connected with someone, how does your breath change? Does your chest feel more open? Do your shoulders relax? Do you laugh easier? Let your body tell you what connection feels like so that you have a blueprint to come back to. Now, the second prompt. Where in my relationship do I feel unmet? even if things look fine on the surface. This is about honesty, not the Instagram version of your relationship, not the I should be grateful version, the truth. Where are the quiet places you still feel lonely? Maybe it's in conversations that stay at surface level. Maybe it's in physical intimacy that feels mechanical instead of present. Maybe it's in daily life where the logistics get covered, but your inner world does not. Be real with yourself. And the third prompt: when did I learn that care was the same as love? Now, this one might bring up childhood memories. Maybe it was the way your parents showed up, putting food on the table, but never asking about your feelings. Maybe it was in school when you were praised for being independent and not needing help. Or maybe it was in a past relationship where you were told you were too sensitive. Trace it back. Where did you first absorb that message? And take your time with these prompts. Let your pen move even if the words feel messy. This isn't about writing something pretty, it's about letting your truth spill out of you. And remember, as you're journaling, your inner critic might pop up and she might say, "You're overthinking, you're making this up, it wasn't that bad." But when that voice comes in, pause, put your hand on your heart, and remind yourself, it makes sense that I feel this way. My heart deserves more. These prompts are not about blaming anyone, they are about reclaiming your own clarity. They're about giving yourself permission to stop gaslighting your needs and start honoring them. So, carve out some time this week, light a candle, put on some music that soothes you, and sit with these questions because the answers you uncover here will be the breadcrumbs leading you back to the kind of love that your body actually longs for. I wanted to end with something that I wish someone had told me years ago, something I had to claw my way into believing. You are not asking for too much. You are asking for the right thing. When you grow up settling for the bare minimum, when you've been taught that attention or caretaking equals love, the moment you start to want more, shame creeps in. That little voice says, "Who do you think you are? You already have someone who cares. Be grateful. Stop being so dramatic." And that voice gets louder when other people echo it. Maybe your friends tell you, "Girl, at least he's not cheating. At least he's not abusive. At least he helps with the kids." And while those things matter, yes, they do, it doesn't erase the ache. It doesn't touch the loneliness in your chest. So I want to be crystal clear. Wanting connection does not make you ungrateful. It makes you intuitive. Your body is not betraying you when it aches for more. It's telling you the truth. Your nervous system is not broken. It's wise. It's showing you that you were meant for love that nourishes, not just love that maintains. And here's what's so beautiful about this: you don't have to wait for someone else to get it before you start honoring this truth. You don't need to sit around hoping he changes or finally shows up the way you dreamed of. You can start by showing yourself what it feels like to be validated and nourished and deeply met. That doesn't mean you give up on your relationship. It means you stop abandoning yourself inside of it. It means you stop silencing the part of you that says, "This isn't enough." It means you listen to your body's signals and you honor them as wisdom, not weakness. You're not broken, you're awake. You're not needy, you're tuned in. You're not too much, you're aligned with your truth. And I want you to picture what would happen if you really believed that. Imagine walking into a room, into a conversation, into a relationship dynamic, not apologizing for your needs, but embodying them. Not shrinking down to fit into this version of love that you were handed, but expanding into the version of love you were always meant to have. That shift alone changes everything because the moment you stop shaming yourself for wanting more, you stop settling for less. So, if no one has said this to you before, let me be the one to say it now. You are not too much. You are not dramatic. You are not needy. You are wise. You are intuitive. And you are allowed to want more. In fact, you were made for more. Now, take one more deep breath with me in through your nose, hold it, and exhale out through your mouth. And I want you to sit with everything we talked about today. That loneliness that you feel inside your relationship, it's not imaginary. It's not you being needy. It's not you being broken. It's your body telling you the truth. That care is not the same as connection. That provision is not the same as presence. And love that looks good on the outside but leaves you starving on the inside is not enough. You deserve love that nourishes you, love that softens your body, love that meets you, not just in what you do together, but in who you are together. So, as you go about your week, I want you to remember, I'm going to drill this into your brain. You are not asking for too much. You are asking for the right thing. And you don't need to wait for someone else to change before you start honoring that truth. You get to start with yourself. You get to name your needs. You get to validate your own experience. And you get to reclaim the parts of you that were told to settle for breadcrumbs and remind them, no, we deserve the whole meal. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, yes, this is me. I'm tired of settling. I'm tired of feeling unseen. I want to feel calm and confident and secure in my relationship, but I don't know how to get there. Then I want to invite you into my program. It's called Healing Her, a Relationship Reset. And this is my 12-week coaching program where I walk you step by step through breaking the cycles that keep you anxious and overthinking and undernourished in love. And together we will work at the level of your nervous system, your body, and your energy so you don't just think differently, you feel differently. This is where you will learn how to stop questioning yourself, how to calm your body when it spirals, and how to show up in your relationship as the secure and embodied version of you who no longer has to beg for crumbs because she knows she is worthy of more. If this resonates, the link is in the show notes to book a free call with me. We'll sit down together, talk about what's coming up for you, and see if healing her is the right next step for you. You don't have to keep living with that quiet ache in your chest. You don't have to keep pretending you're fine while your body is starving for connection. You are allowed to ask for more. And you are allowed to begin healing right now. So take this with you today. You are not needy. You are intuitive. You are not broken. You are wise. And your heart, it deserves more than being tolerated. It deserves to be cherished. So, thank you for being here with me today, and thank you for being brave enough to tell yourself the truth. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.